getting better when I'm 70. Your drip is just a water spring. You know I drip different, this the 7 seas. I deal with life different, make that lemon squeeze. Ran off with my style and identity. Better bounce back and get the cheddar cheese. I guess that's why they envy me. On track, now we going way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Way up, pray up. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going on track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. I got hits.
This is literally what I'm doing, and every single time the intro plays, man,
cheddar cheese,
dude, that cheddar cheese, bro. Maybe there's some corny lyrics in there, sure, but I'll be honest, the beat still feels good. We've listened to that son of a gun. I'd have to go back and look how many episodes, but it's been many weeks that this has been the theme song. And, you know, maybe the next step up is we get that artist to create one for Board DP. If I can find that person, man, that would be a freaking riot. Get a one of one song for the show. But man, I know the space seems to be going a million miles an hour. There's a couple of things, at least some major things to talk about within the Yuga Labs ecosystem, of course. There's other things to talk about as well. But to start off, man, we were just talking about this before we jumped on. I'm fucking tired, man. I'm freaking beat like a drum, dude. How's your week been, my friend?
dude? It's chaos right now. I mean, it's gonna be chaos for the foreseeable future. It seems like too.
Yeah.
Week's been okay though.
That's
Nothing
good.
too
I mean,
crazy.
that's key. At least it's been an okay week. I mean, could be worse. Definitely chaotic. Do you feel the chaos because you feel like there's not enough hours in the day? Is that kind of where you're at the moment?
100%. I think the continual grind of like trying to stay on top of all the different moving pieces that are happening within the space,
Right.
and then trying to fit in work and taxes.
Yeah. Tax season, people. Fuck, tax season. A quick note on that. I know for a 1,000,000% fact that yours is way crazier than mine. So you're still alive, you're still breathing. Are your taxes finished? Has the finale happened, or are we still grinding them out?
No, we're still chugging them out.
Yeah.
We're running it down to the wire.
Yeah.
Now I've done it the last 2 years, so
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like the procrastination of like putting it off.
Yep.
And then like you have like 5-ish
Full
days of, like,
send.
just hell, and then you're like, okay,
Yeah.
that's over.
It's a massive relief once it's done, though. I think that I do the same thing, especially when it comes to things like this. It's like that last minute, you hate yourself for a moment, but then when it's done, man, that feeling of relief, I think it's worth the procrastination the next year. We go back to the same thing.
I don't know. I mean, the time, the line, the way it lines up this time is it's not great, right? Because I gotta be like spending all that effort. And
for sure.
Like, diving deeper into like ordinals or some shit, and like, it's like you got to pump the brakes, forget everything you're doing in the moment, and like think about everything that happened a year and X amount of months ago, right?
Right.
So it's just, I don't know. It's just not fun.
It's chaos, and to be honest, I mean, anyone that lives in the United States, I mean, it should be easier in general, right? Like, it should just, like, this is the type of shit, like, they should just be able to tell us, like, just fucking tell me, right? Like, if they knew, if it was an ideal scenario, it should be very dummy proof. It should be super easy. What's up, Farman, man? We're talking taxes, the big bad tax man coming around the corner. I know.
In that case.
Eating, he's out. See you later. He said, "I'm out of
Have
here."
fun.
It's just like I feel like taxes is way more complicated than it probably needs to be. But welcome to America, I suppose.
Sure.
Bryce, my friend, how are you doing this fine evening?
Doing pretty good. Like y'all were probably mentioning earlier, busy doing my taxes.
Yep, lots of tax talk, lots of we're low on sleep. That's been the main point of emphasis this first 10 minutes is just low on sleep, low on energy a bit.
Yeah, attention's being pulled 7 different ways right now, and just trying to allocate it to certain things.
For sure. So one of those things that did populate here on the timeline that is very obviously specific to Bored Ape and Yuga Labs was the announcement of, drumroll please, Apefest 2024. So, Bryce, I'll throw it to you first, and Will, with the note of pack the boat, Apefest Lisbon, October 2024. So, Bryce, off this, we had kind of everybody knew it was going to be Europe, somewhere in Europe. But what was your initial quick thought when you saw the announcement, when you saw the amazing poster? Because they always do these super well. What was your overall quick sentiment there when you saw it?
First thought, I'm excited. I've never been to Portugal before or kind of anywhere in that area. So I'm excited to take a week or two off work and go explore.
For sure, for sure.
Ohio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In Ohio, of
Yeah,
course.
in Ohio.
Will, what was your initial reaction when the official announcement dropped?
Dude, honestly, I don't know. I was so set. I was like, it's gonna be Amsterdam or whatever the people were saying. It's gonna be in Amsterdam. We were gonna have a freaking great time, but now we're gonna have a freaking great time somewhere else.
I actually, all things considered, and full transparency, the timing for me is like rest in peace, because we're having our third child in August, at the end of August. And so trying to get the wife and me, because I'd go with both of us, away when we have like a 6 week to 8 week old. Yeah, that's probably not happening. So rest in peace, Apefest 0 for 2 in the last 2 years, which definitely feels like, I'll be honest, a kick directly in the nutsack. That's 100% what it feels like. But I would say take that out of consideration, the location and and I didn't know shit about Lisbon. I'll be honest. I didn't know shit about it, but like doing a little bit of research, just a little, and talking to people that have been, I think it's a freaking home run, to be honest with you. I think it's going to be beautiful. It's one of these oldest cities over there in Europe. It's right on the freaking ocean. There's going to be tons of shit to do, tons of places to see. I heard the food's immaculate. Like, I just feel like it's a real good pick to, like you just said, Bryce, like explore. Because like that's part of this, right? That's definitely part of Apefest now, is it's turned into this. Of course, we're going to have awesome events. We're going to have a party. We're going to do all these things. You're going to meet people, etc. But also, hey, come explore this area that you may have never been and maybe never would have gone if it wasn't for Apefest. And so actually,
that was
really
going to be
love
my
that.
next point is it wasn't on my books to go to Lisbon, but now I'm like, hey, looks like I'm going to Lisbon and knocking Portugal off the list.
For sure. And again, I think I think it's a really great choice. I think October is great too, honestly. Like, I just think it's a good time of the year, and hopefully by then we're just like fucking everyone's hair's on fire because shit's just going crazy. Either way, the sentiment across the board was super positive, and I think a big part of that was the timing too, right? Like we talked about, even Hong Kong. Yeah, they gave some time, but it didn't feel like that much time to like kind of prepare to look ahead and plan and save money or whatever you needed to do. This one feels like you're far enough out that lots of time to prepare, make those plans, save up money if you need to, pinch those coins, find them in the cushions of your couch. But I'm excited to see what they do. I'm curious if I would assume it's very similar to what they did in Hong Kong. Are there any other guesses of, what do you think they might kind of like when you were in Hong Kong? Here's a question for you guys, because you went. Do you feel like what was their focus of this is why Hong Kong is great? Was there like a focus from Yuga to show off like this is cool about Hong Kong? I don't know if there was, but I'm just curious.
I mean, everything was like Hong Kong themed.
Okay.
But it wasn't like a showcase of like,
right,
here's this specific thing from Hong Kong. I mean, there were definitely like little Easter eggs thrown in.
Right.
But,
yeah. I think anybody who was from Hong Kong appreciated everything that was done, right? Because it highlighted, different aspects of Hong Kong in like unique ways with like, BAYC theme, right?
Yeah.
So I think if anything, they're not going to necessarily like say like, this is why we chose this image for this poster.
Yeah.
But like, it makes like, for anybody who knows anything about the area, they they make the connection. And so it's kind of like just like a subtle, like, I don't know. It's not like you're sitting in a history lesson.
No, of course not.
Whatever.
Right.
But like the
it's
way
the tip
they
of the
just
cap.
mix it in and whatever. It's just, it's unique. Right. So like, I don't know. The feedback was they did a great job making the clubhouse feel like it was very much having elements of Hong Kong for the Apefest Hong Kong.
And you can see it from this poster, like Lisbon, it screams Lisbon, right? Like everybody that kind of is around the area from Europe are like, man, this is just freaking right on the head of the nail. And so again, not shocking there. I feel like the graphics that, Bored Ape does for really everything always seems to slap. And so this is just one of those other things where they can do really cool stylistic things, no matter kind of what they're going for. So again, if you were living under a rock, it is in Lisbon, October 2024. We don't know if it's at the beginning or at the end. Who knows? I guess we'll find out soon-ish, right? We hate saying soonish now because we feel like we've heard that a million times, but nonetheless, it will be soon. The next little bit of information, Yuga specific, and it was something that quite literally just came out today, was this tweet. And I'm going to pull it up here in just a second. And it was from Garga. I know we were talking about it a little bit in our little group chat, but Will, I'm going to throw it to you first. What are our thoughts here on Garga's tweet about, well, just some thoughts on, running the project, etc.
Yeah, I think this was one of those, well, I don't remember exactly what I said, but it was something probably along the lines of like, he's saying all of the things that I want to hear or like,
yeah,
that I want to see. And like, I hope we go back to that because like, I guess this more so reminds me of like early on days when it was like, yo, we just like randomly dropped the dog collection and like, we like kind of like the, not that they didn't know what they were doing, but like some of the, we just kind of went with it, right? Whatever felt right. They dropped the dogs. They did royalties on the dogs went to charity for the first however many months. Like those kind of things, like it was all like they were just doing stuff just to do it and have fun and, also, make a little bit of a difference along the way. In some cases, right? And then it's like, we had like the scavenger hunt and like we, all gathered around and tried to dig through puzzles and whatnot. And there was like that endless, pointless game that was there to like throw everybody off the trail of like what you really needed to be doing. And it was like, that's the kind of shit that was like super exciting.
Yep.
Super fun and super engaging. And like, it didn't matter what it was. It didn't matter that you didn't win. It was like, oh, damn. Like I just had a fun experience.
Yep.
Right. Like that's more like, I feel like now saying that out loud, we've completely lost that. That does not currently exist, in the current form of the club today. But, maybe Garga's going to bring us back to that. And I think that would very much be welcomed. And yeah, I mean, I hope that's what they would do because I think it would crush. I think it would bring a lot of positive energy back towards the club.
Mm-hmm.
Bryce, to you, my friend, and then I'll give a couple thoughts.
Yeah, no, I agree with Will. It's all the right things that I want to hear, but definitely in one of those kind of I'm going to need to see it to believe it sort of approaches. Because, I just think currently market does not care for anything Yugo right now. So until that changes, we'll probably continue on this trajectory.
I feel like market doesn't care about a lot of things currently. Like I think it's a very like specific, like because here's
right now the market just could not give a crap about.
And we talked slightly about this in our DMs, but I hold zero of this project. Like I'm not making anything off this comment I'm about to say. I actually thought Doodle's announcements they've done were fucking awesome. Like you're talking about some of the biggest MFers in the music space, and they're doing this like obviously going to be high quality animation. Dude, there was like crickets. So like it's hard to be honest with you. It's got to be hard for all of these teams that are doing like, trying to think maybe more creative or fun. You know what I mean? The things he's saying right here, delightful things, fun things, whatever, right? Like have fun in the space. Right now, the space doesn't care as much. But what I will say is I like this last part, just kill inertia, right? Because like you don't want to be stuck in this like where you get frozen, where you can't make a decision because you're waiting for like this perfect moment. And so again, obviously we have it on the screen, but some of the points here, people will agree that A is the best thing to do, but it could be would be the best begun or announced later for any number of reasons. And then you find yourself in the business of making some weird fucking mousetrap or Rube Goldberg machine, trying to time everything just right, rather than just doing the real thing, which is just to make useful or beautiful or delightful things fast. I think it's just really well said. And like what I'll say here too is I'm speaking specifically to Garga, or I could even say Gordon, but it's obviously Garga's tweet. I believe him because he's not the type of person that puts a bunch of shit on the timeline and then you go back and you're like, oh fuck, you didn't do any of that shit. Like he doesn't really say a lot. And so for him to put this like what feels like a very real thought, right? Like a feeling from him, and I'm sure more people in the team and probably Gordon as well. Like they've probably been gnawing on this for a minute. I don't know. Like I trust that they'll do something. Now that doesn't mean like tomorrow we're like, holy shit, you know, there's all these like surprise and delight things. But I think if we look back and I don't know, by the end of the year, maybe we'll look back and say, well, that was really cool. They did some really fun things. They like again, these silly games. Maybe it's a competition. We don't even care that we won the competition. Maybe it's, you know, a separate mobile game or whatever it is. I don't give a shit. Cool collab on merch, something that, you know, nobody's expecting. Maybe it's fucking dog collars for all the pet owners out there. Like, come on, who wouldn't want a fucking dog collar? I'm excited to see what happens, but I thought it was a timely tweet because it felt like we've all sort of felt that way without putting it in those exact words, if that makes any sense. And I think he kind of wrapped a nice bow on it to kind of how we were feeling. So definitely excited to see what that brings, obviously, moving forward. Speaking about moving forward here, we are, gosh, I guess a little over a week into April. And I believe the wording was that Dookey Dash would be happening by May. So if that's the case, if we take that verbatim per word, that would mean what May 1st is in exactly 1, 2, 3 weeks. So within the next 3 weeks, Dookey Dash hits everywhere. And I think that's probably going to happen because when did they open up the Philippines? Like 10 days ago or something like that. I feel like it's been a minute.
It's something like that. It's been a little while now.
It has been a little while. And so I appreciate them for obviously stress testing it and trying it out other places first before they just let it freaking ride. I do appreciate that dearly. But, you know, we talked about this a little bit. Are you like, for you to enjoy it, what would it take, Bryce? Like, what would it take for you, just you, Bryce? I'm not talking about mass market. I'm not talking about pro gamers. I'm talking about Bryce. No, I'm not saying you grind this bitch out, but you just enjoy, like, hey, shit, I got 10 minutes. Let me fucking rip, you know, three runs down the sewer.
I think there's going to be like unique rewards, right? Especially
what would that be? What do you think? What do you think unique rewards would be?
I don't know. Some IRL, like give me a T-shirt, like something that's like, you know, if I'm, you know, got 10 or 15 minutes on the pot before I got to get back to work or something, like, sure, I might play for some BAYC merch or potentially some Ape coin or something. But again, I'm not really sure I'll be like, well, I might actually play the game when I'm killing time, but I don't know, it's got to be somewhat challenging, not like super tedious. I mean, there's a lot of different aspects.
And so, I want to hear Will's thoughts there too, but I can tell you from the play test, what I got to experience it was fun. Like I wasn't playing for shit, right? Like I was just literally testing it out. And I felt like it was fun. Like it was definitely cleaner than it was before. I was playing it on mobile. I felt like it was a little bit harder just naturally. Like my old ass boomer thumbs just weren't, you know, working super well. Though I think my score was better because you have some of these extra like boosters and you have this magnetic thing that can, you know, pick up all the coins or all the items, etc. And so I think it'll be fun. And I think they will obviously have some random rewards. And we talk about the golden plungers. That's kind of like you could luck into one of those. And then that means that you get to play, I think, in like the tournament, basically. Now, does that matter, right? Like if there's 100 of them, does 100 place get anything? Or do you just get a slap in the ass that you got to play in the tournament? I don't really know. Will, what would make you enjoy playing it occasionally? Not that you're grinding it
I mean,
out.
if those golden plungers are going for $5K pop, $1,000 a pop, and I can I have the chance at randomly getting one, I'll be playing the game.
Yeah.
I mean, who wouldn't?
Yeah, you know, I don't know. That's a tricky one for me. I feel like because of the market we're in right now, like it's going to be a competition for my time. So obviously if there's incentive there and it's like, you know, some kind of solid incentive, then yes, I will go play it. But like realistically, I think me playing it or not would not be like the determining factor on whether or not this
Agreed.
is successful, right? And so I feel like ultimately, personally, I feel like it's not a game for me, right? Like I don't necessarily foresee myself like dedicating hours and hours and hours to this game. Just because I feel like it has a different audience. I feel like the audience is the mass market, people who don't know anything about crypto, people who they're trying to introduce BAYC brand and kind of just like get them interacting with it, right? Like that would be the measure of success that I would look for that game. And so I don't know. I personally, I don't think there's, I mean, if it's just a chance to get a golden plunger, I might play it every once in a while, but like, I don't know. I got too much shit going on.
No, for sure.
Seconded.
No, I definitely, here's what I'll say on that is because I'm kind of on the other end of the spectrum, to be fair. Not that I'm not trying to learn more stuff, but honestly, at the moment right now, what I'm looking for in specifically Yuga, right? Because that's by far my biggest holding. I just want some fun shit too. Like at the end of the day, like if we can find this vibe where like they're producing fun things that, again, if there's rewards, awesome, but it's just fun. Like it's, yes, occasionally. I'm a dad of 2, about to be 3. I freaking work with kids all day. I can promise you a 10-minute time waster of playing a game. I'm all for that. Like I've had a multitude of random games on my phone that, most of the time they collect dust. But if I can find something that, hey, you give me that 10-minute breather, if it's fun, like I'll feel like that's a win. And good point. And I agree. It doesn't matter if the 3 of us are grinding it out every day. It really doesn't. Right? Like now, if the incentives are that crazy that we feel like we can't miss out, well, yeah, of course, that's like extra bullish. But honestly, what I'm looking for is these partnerships with gamers that will stream it. That obviously is lined up. They've already done that with a couple of them. So you're going to see that on the timeline. That's great. If there are some times where maybe we rip a couple, maybe we do a silly, maybe we bring somebody on board TV and they rip a run on live on TV or whatever on board TV. Like that could be fun, right? But again, it's not important that Bryce, Will, and Phil are grinding this bitch out 20 hours a day. Like that's definitely not what needs to be like a success. The success would be you get it on a shit ton of phones in the App Store and you see that people are coming back and playing it because of whatever. It's fun. Maybe they're more competitive and they want to try to get into these tournaments and the golden plungers and the tournament goes off crazy and the $1 million prize pool just fucking blows people's hair back and they're like, holy shit, this is like the craziest thing for like normie me to have a chance at. Not that it's a great chance, but you still have a chance, right? Like to be honest, that kind of prize pool is a little wild. And for the fact that you could potentially get lucky and get a golden plunger, and then who fucking knows, right? Like maybe at the end of the day, you make $150, dude. For a normie to make $150 for this free game that they downloaded with some monkeys, I promise you, they'll probably come back and play again, right?
Yeah,
like it doesn't take a lot. It doesn't really take a lot to get people hooked. It's obviously fun, but if there's that little fucking cherry at the end of it, that little thing at the end of the stick that they want to chase, I mean that's really the key. So, man, agreed, Cloud. Have a good time. Everyone does like to have fun. That's true. There are different definitions of fun, but I agree 100%. Everybody likes to have fun. So, speaking of things that we're hoping to become more fun, Legends of the Mara. Obviously, we are still occasionally checking in. I opened another box. It was not. What's the second tier? I didn't get it in the amount of days. The first one, I just
the intermediate. Is it the intermediate?
Whatever the second one is, I don't fucking remember.
It's not the master chest.
I did not get the master, and I did also not get a catalyst, which was no shocker. Oh, we're opening one right now. Let's freaking go, my boy.
We're gonna rip a novice.
Let's go, novice man. Let's get a catalyst. Let's get a catalyst. See you in the chat. Oh, we got common, lots of stuff.
Oh well.
So obviously there's not a whole lot to update. Well, how many days are left in this season? Was it like 30? Am I crazy?
Like a month and a half or something ridiculous.
I don't remember.
I don't remember.
Because supposedly, as soon as this season closes, I should say, not opens, closes, we will be starting to test this new version from far away. And I have a little note on that. First question for you guys. Did you get a chance to listen to any of the Space with Garga with the Gaming Ape show with Squiddy and those folks? Did you get to hear any of that?
When was that? Recently?
That was, I think it's like during the morning time. I had it was Monday.
I did not listen to it, no.
It was the day of the eclipse. Nothing like crazy, and I wasn't completely tuned in because I was teaching, to be honest with you, and so I had an AirPod in occasionally to listen to some of it. But one thing that I thought was not surprising but cool, and this was not from Garga's mouth, but it was from the rest of the guys that have been kind of helping on this marketing push for Dookey Dash. They were talking about the faraway team in general, just in generalities. And man, they just like, and there's no reason they had to like fluff them up, but they just said that the team is like dope. Like they're, they grind it out. They're freaking working hard. And that made me not bullish. I won't even say that, but intrigued. I think that's a better word. Intrigued to see what this new Legends of Tomorrow with Faraway looks like. We're hoping Serum City is dope and clean, but we're hoping it's a little different than that. Is that a fair statement for me to make?
Yeah, I'd be looking for it to be significantly different than that.
So if you had your utopian mobile version or desktop, whatever version of this Faraway game for Legends of Tomorrow, what's your top thing that you would hope that could happen? If you could pick one thing that you're like, man, I really hope that this is included in the game. You can only pick one. Gun to your head.
I don't even know. To be completely honest, I'm unwinding my LOTM bag. So like it just I don't even know at this point. Like I don't know what makes sense, how they're gonna course correct, if they're gonna course correct. Would freaking like to see a marketplace in there.
Yeah.
Where we can buy and sell and trade within among each other. Doesn't have to be mint everything, I don't know. That's what I would want to see.
Your number one
just
thing would
like
be in-game marketplace. I think that's a good number one.
Yeah, so you can fling, this crap back and forth for Mist, and then cash out ApeCoin on the other end of it. And I don't know if there's like some kind of like blocker for that, and there probably is.
Yeah,
or maybe there isn't. I don't know, but other teams do it. How are they doing it? So yeah, I don't know.
Number one in-game marketplace. I think that's a great choice. Bryce, if it was something else besides the in-game marketplace.
I was going to say, if he's going in-game marketplace, I'll choose something different, which would be like an actual strategy game. Make me like point and click and like actually do stuff.
No. I played the strategy game.
Yeah, okay, fair. It was fun.
That did not
now
work.
I don't have time to play the strategy game. So
it was not a well-crafted strategy. It was hey, let's build a strategy game, but we know where the starting point is. We have no idea where the course of this whole race is supposed to go, and we certainly don't know where it's going to end up. That's the TLDR vibe.
But what about a good strategy game? I'll go with that. A good strategy game. The thing is, we got to keep moving forward. That's what I'm going to say. Yes, we can say they fucked up a million times. They did. We fucking hate it. It's been boring as shit. And the strategy has actually been the opposite. It's kind of fucked up a lot of people.
Strategy has been to just sell everything.
Yeah, the strategy was do not enter.
I mean, I feel like that's a lot of things. Sell on every piece of news. Like, just sell everything. When the new thing drops, just sell it. Buy back later if you want. Raving Ape for Ponzinomics, Mr. Frosty says.
Dude, yeah. Honestly, you want me playing Dookey Dash? Fucking load me some blast gold in that thing, baby. Let's go. Put it on blast so I can get some blast gold.
That would do it for you?
That would do it. I would play the game. I play stupider games for blast gold.
Yeah, I play just horrendous games that I would much rather play LOTM for blast gold. But
there's this one game.
Yeah,
all you do is you click the button.
You click dual battle, and you hit start, and that's it.
You may or may not have built a deck that can beat somebody else. And it takes a while to load too. It's super annoying.
And you just randomly guess, and all you do is hit start battle X, start battle X.
So then what you're telling me is what you just told me though means the actual strategy and game means not shit. You just admitted it. It only matters is what you get out of it.
Well, I didn't say it meant
shit. So I
But
agree.
I was having fun with LOTM strategizing, and I was doing that for fun. But if we're bringing in new,
exciting things,
new exciting things, this right here, this is peak performance on a Blast Gold scale. So my cards are fighting against their
I
cards.
see that. Yeah.
And I don't even know if we can see it.
Nice.
Can we see this?
I can see it.
Oh wow, look at that. Look at me go.
Bam, bam.
Let's see. Let's speed this up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get so rich off of this right here, baby. Sheesh.
Anthony, prizes on Dookey Dash might be huge. Yeah, that's true for sure. Like I think some of them will be for sure.
I thought Catalyst might be huge. I thought ship parts might be huge.
I mean, they have $1 million, so like $1 million is kind of big.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Now how they break that up,
buy
I have no clue.
Buyback Catalyst.
My guy, that is the worst shit you've ever said. And you like
Pump it, baby.
My
bags. No, okay. So here's
Oh, Legends of the Mara prizes. I mean, we'll see there. I'm not going to go that far. Dookey Dash, we know there's $1 million. Legends of Mara, I have no expectation for prizes. I have no expectation for anything. My expectations could not be lower, and that's not a negative statement from my mouth. It's just a true statement. And so I would say Legends of Mara. I would actually love it if it was a strategy game that I felt like I actually had to work to like figure it out. I would actually like that. I wouldn't mind my brain having to work a little bit.
But I don't want like strategy that like you figure out once.
No.
Like, okay, you just set it and forget. Like I want like every time you enter the game, there's like a new strategy required, or not necessarily new strategy, but like there's different metas.
Realistically, when it comes to mobile games in the past, what are games that we've played? We've played like the Clash of Clans and like the
Clash Royale.
Yeah, Clash Royale. And so what do those do? Okay, Clash Royale, very interactive, fast paced.
Yep.
You build a deck and you have to actually interact in
real time,
against somebody else. PvP. That's where the shit's fun.
Yep.
So, I mean, they say we're going to be fighting for nodes or whatever. What does that look like? Is that something that's actually strategic, something that actually, requires you to be interactive? I mean, like, to be completely honest, PvP with Dookey Dash is a little bit different because you're just trying to get the best score.
Right.
So it's one score versus the other score. Like, you don't necessarily, oh, my score beat their score. But, like, at least in, like, some of those other games, like the Clash games, you built a base and you get to like watch the playback of somebody coming in and, beating yours. So then you can be like, oh shit, I need to reinforce this. I need to do that. I need to do like, it's those like little type of like micro strategies where it's like, what is it? Is it like a different form of chess almost or something like that, where it's like that, people can have an upper hand based on like, things that they have done in the game. Like that shit is interesting, fun, engaging, and, has big player bases, right? So like would love to see something like that for LOTM.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I think a Clash Royale or Clash of Clans style would slap so fucking hard. Like, can we please just like that?
Sounds like it'll be a Clash of Clans where like you probably build out a node and people can come attack your node. Or
I think that has potential as well. I would love a Clash Royale element though. Like that would be fun. Like just fucking challenging MFers.
My only concern with any of these things has been that they recently mentioned in like their newest, maybe it was in the Faraway article or something like that, which basically said that NFT holders cannot have extra perks outside of what somebody in the game can earn for free.
That's an App Store thing. You can't do shit about. Oh god, there you go. See ya. I mean, you can't do anything about that.
Why the fuck hold any of this shit?
Yeah, but I think there's more to
that.
that though. I think like a mobile game is not the end of like the line. I don't believe that's like your final destination is a mobile game. Like I think ideally,
but I mean it's we're using these assets. We're supposed to be talking about interoperability and like taking my asset from one thing to another thing and to another thing, and it's like I mean I don't know. Currently, it's like if you're going to build a game for the pieces of the characters on a board. Right? Like I don't know.
But I think, and this is me completely fucking, I have no fucking clue. But I think they are sort of in a way, because then you would take your whatever you have, your ship parts, etc., or whatever the hell it looks like. I have no clue what it looks like. I don't work at Faraway. I would be the one idiot in the fucking crew. But like you'll be able to take them into this mobile game, and then when other side happens, you'll be able to take it there too, right? And like when this other thing happens, if there's another game, you can take it there as well.
Right. The only problem with that being is those experiences currently are one at a time, not coexisting things. And so the only thing the market will do at that point is derive it to its lowest denominator and just be like, oh, this thing is not capable of, providing utility in this fashion. Send it to 0. I mean, like, I don't know. I feel like we embarked on a slippery slope when we started the LOTM beta, because then we had, all sorts of strategy building on, creating teams that could efficiently defeat Shattered, right? And so now that we've like gone down that path, people bought assets to position themselves to play the game. And then the game changes, about a year later. Has it been a year? Fuck, it might. It's not exactly a year, but definitely it's been a minute.
Mm-hmm.
But now you're going to throw a wrench in there and like potentially disrupt the entire balance of those assets. I don't know. It's like, are they going to keep the same weapon procs? Are weapon procs even a thing? Like, we have no fucking clarity on any of this crap. And so it's just kind of like, you know what? I think at this point, I'm not going to fuck around and find out. I'm going to just see myself out. And we'll just see what happens.
That's fine. I think so you can't, it was like the wording I think was like people that play on the game have to be able to achieve whatever you have, right? Like something like that. Like you can't have an asset that
No, yeah, it was
no one
like,
can
I mean, so let's say there's like speed boosts. You can't be like, oh, because you have an ape, you can get a 4x speed boost, which is only available to apes. Like that is not, essentially the way I read it was that type of ability not allowed.
Yeah, but they can just say, okay, apes. If you hold an ape, you automatically get a 4x boost. If
That's
you're
what I-
normie,
yeah.
you gotta pay $1 for it.
That's what I was gonna say.
No. I don't think you can even say you have to pay $1 for it. I think it had to be something of, anybody playing normally could earn.
They could achieve it. Yeah, sure. Correct.
So
that might be in payment.
Either pay
That's what
$1 or spend X amount of credits or something and get their 4x boost.
The thing, I don't know. I just
not that. By the way, not that
that
means the NFTs are just going to be super highly valuable in the game. But I think Bryce, that's what I was going to say. Was the point was there'll be some sort of mechanism where you buy whatever the fucking in-game thing is. To
and where it might just be a boost. The boosts are automatically applied to apes.
Sure.
And everybody else has to pay for it. Or
but that's kind of like my point here is like they can't. Coders can't be the best captains if you don't have some sort of advantage to them. And so like from what they said with Dookey Dash, it's like, oh, I don't know. Are they actually going to be able to make, Coders the best captains? Like, how do they do that without breaking the rules of what has already been laid out?
What if here, and I am completely fucking, this is a spitball. Okay, let's say Coders are the best captains. They have these stats, whatever. They're significantly better than normie captain that you can get. And the only way that normie captain can get it is if they buy Bryce's version of his coda that he's created in the suite.
I don't know. That seems,
it's a little much when we have like 10,000 codas.
Yeah, like
I'm not saying you're making $1 million, but like, what if that is like you would theoretically set the market of this thing?
I think the thing is like when you look at like the artifacts, for example, do you think that nobody.eth wants to have purchased the rare 1-of-1 sword artifact so that he can mass produce it for other people to use the ability of it in the game? Or does he want to just, big dick and run around with that one unique rare sword that nobody else can have? But when he goes flying across the screen and that sword is brighter than the sun, you're like, holy shit, that dude's fucking loaded, right? Like it's literally a flex item at that point.
I
And,
think
like,
it
I
will
don't-
be, and you're right that it's not going to be tomorrow or even next year. But I think that's where the hope would be that's where other side comes in. And it's like this fucking item does do XYZ things because it's on our platform of other side. It's not on an Apple fucking an Android, app store that has all this regulation.
Dude, I mean, like if he wants to like just raise the sword and the sun falls out of the sky, like
Damn,
that's
dude.
the kind of crap that should happen, right? Like
fancy
I
drop.
don't know. There needs to be some wacky shit that happens because of that. So I don't know. I think I don't know. It's yeah. We'll see how integrating with these mobile apps will play out. I think. Yeah, I don't know. We might be in for a rocky ride.
I guess my point is Legends of the Mara is 100% not the finish line. It's simply an experience along the way.
Right. And I think
I'm not saying that means like, oh, feel good about ourselves that we're holding these fucking assets. But I guess like that's still true though, right? It's not the final destination.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say like, oh, the entire point of Other Side was to play LOTM,
Yeah, of course
but
not.
I feel like in some sense you would need to build out mechanisms so that people can actually get something from their resources. So why would you not have a layer to LOTM where instead of running around like the current MMORPGs where you like, run up to a rock, you click and you mine it, and then you like run over to a bush and you pick it or whatever, right? Like instead of doing those things in the 3D experience, you just have a layer underneath it where it's like, here's the LOTM 2D experience where you're like, you have like some, like you're playing a game to achieve these things, etc. But like shit's valuable and like there's structure and stuff here. But like currently there's no structure and currently there's unlimited amounts of sediment fragments. And like we were supposed to have a feedback loop where sediments were supposed to be consumed for, with Catalyst to turn Maras into Coda Maras, and like that got scrapped. And then we were supposed to have, another aspect of that where the Shattered started fighting back. And then, there was going to be like a third ability and some other stuff, whatever. And that stuff got pushed or scrapped. And then on top of that, we were supposed to have all of these, partner collections getting involved as well. And so then I don't know. I just, balls are blue.
I think that's the unfortunate reality of beta testing a game too. Like
I don't know. I mean, beta
it's not going to be
but
perfect,
like not
though.
communicating shit like that. I mean, come on. There was no communication.
And then
they
teased
like
us and they were like,
the communication
will
was
come
like
back.
at the end of the season, we're not doing that, right? Like, and then you have to find out. I don't know. It's like, why string it out? Just if it's not going to happen, don't say it's going to happen. Or if you don't know, like maybe they thought it was going to happen, but then like 2 weeks into it, they're like, yo, this might not work out. Like
they didn't want to tell us until
we tell people
until the royalties were enforced.
Yeah,
I don't think it's
I'm selling like the
nefarious.
majority of my code is OTC, so
okay. I don't think it's
that
nefarious.
definitely wasn't an option or an issue for them because they were already paying royalties on Blur.
But anywho, I guess again, my point is, man, I'm gonna zoom out a little bit and hope that this long-term vision is something good, and that doesn't mean I need to hold everything to zero at this moment, but I can if I want. That's called your own
Independence.
It's called opinions. They're great. We all have them, and we share them here on Board TV every single Wednesday. What else has come across your timeline that is interesting, befuddling, or somewhere in between? Has anything just been like, what the fuck is that?
Ordinals BRC 20 a little bit. I was kind of like,
that shit has continued to just spin my mind out of confusion and like, I guess we're doing this. So Bryce and I picked up a runestone each about a week ago,
and some tiny Vikings.
I'm like, I don't even know half this shit. I'm still trying to figure it out.
But fuck it, we ball.
Yeah, the whole ordinal wave, like it's kind of becoming more clear that it is
most likely.
It's going to be here for a minute. So it was either strap in and enjoy the ride or sit on the sidelines. So
I listened to Trevor talk about runes, and it just sort of sounded like, this is not a slam, by the way. I actually thought the information was fucking fascinating. My brain was spinning. Kind of feels like it's meme coins on Bitcoin, right?
Yeah. I mean, that is the TLDR. And so for that reason, you know, had to get a little bit of exposure. I think the thing that makes it different, right, at least from what I could gather for rune stones in particular, is it's all fair launch, et cetera, essentially having the rune stone is your ticket to, you know, your allocation of the tokens. And thus there's no additional team allocation. There's no additional investor allocation. Like, it is what it is. So you can either buy the rune stones and have allocation or not. So
the way he described it was that it was an orange that had been squeezed slightly rather than you getting the orange directly from the tree. I don't fucking know what he was smoking, but that's what he was saying.
Orange that's been squeezed slightly.
Yeah.
Are we talking because the value has already kind of gone up in
maybe
the asset itself?
I'm not sure. But his biggest change of like, yeah, that probably is what he was saying, because there's obviously a price value where runes are free minus the transaction cost, correct? I think. Again, I'm saying this with like half in a brain of an idea. I don't like, I was listening to them talk about SD cards and downloading the fucking node, and I was like, holy shit, I need to
that's a hard pass for me.
It was a lot, but it was interesting. Like, truly, it was like fascinating to hear him talk about it. So I don't know, like, ordinals are fine. Some of them are fucking ridiculous, but I guess that's why it makes sense. I think from now on in life in general, well, not in life, maybe not in life, in crypto specifically, you just got to look at the shit that looks the dumbest most of the time and just full send that shit. Like, just full send the shit, because like some of the dumbest shit is just like ripping, which is fine, by the way. I'm not mad about it. It's just like, it's so hard for me to, like, you know what I mean? Like, I just need to turn my brain off. No brain allowed. Just fucking full send that mother effer. That's
I don't know. I look at all this crap sometimes and I'm like, I don't know why anybody cares about any of this stuff. But then I don't know. There's narratives that are built and you know, things that end up driving price. And so if this is where the market wants to focus its energy and attention and whatever, I mean, like, I think the argument that like runes is like a bullish thing for Bitcoin immediately after the halving because of the increase in, you know, block space demands, thus prices of, you know, transactions goes up and the miners get more money and whatever. Like, I mean, yeah. So some people were like, oh, well, from that aspect alone, there's going to be people pumping the crap out of runes because they want the volume, because they want the price action, because they want everybody trying to interact and get transactions in on Bitcoin, right? And from that could make Bitcoin do some crazy things. Whether that plays out exactly how that story was told to me, I don't know. But it sounded really compelling.
Straight to $1 million.
We'll see.
Straight to $1 million.
Yeah, I mean, I think all of that is interesting. The whole space is based on narratives, right? Like, if you really just like kind of synthesize it down, like, and that's not a bad thing per se, but it's all about what's being talked about. We've talked about that a lot. Obviously, attention matters no matter what that is. If it's new tech, if it's a fucking shitcoin, if it's a project, artist, I mean, all of it, right? Like, I think about, do you remember the Ghost, the artist, the Ghost pieces that used to go for like, I don't even know, like double-digit ETH. I don't
know if I remember this.
I'll have to pull it up here real quick.
Like the GHXTS or whatever.
Oh, you're talking about the ghosts, and they made monsters and like something else.
Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking of at least.
Shit, who's that? What's their name though? It's
Fuck,
not Ghosts, is it?
It's something like X. Fuck, I don't know what it is. I was gonna check and see what the floor price is. My point was that man, them bitches were like hot for a minute, and then like again, it's all about attention. Like I don't
it literally is just Ghosts.
literally
Well, with an X instead of an O.
instead of an O. Oh,
You're talking about this person, right?
you see, senor.
Yeah, arts. I was there not an experience at NFT NYC, the first one?
Yeah,
There was, yeah.
There, like, and it was like a really cool experience in
No,
that little
wasn't
showroom.
was that a ghost?
it was.
Wasn't it? Like,
They had
I'm pretty sure you were there when we were there, or maybe it was in that same.
Deadhead.
Yeah.
That's right, yeah.
Hosted them. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That
So
was pretty cool.
you know, they're still selling. It looks like there's a night version, an alien. And I just look and see, you know, like how long has it been? I guess a month ago, a ghost sold for it's still 3.69. But I feel like, man, let's see. Maybe I'm fucking drunk. I'm not drunk because I don't drink. I was gonna see what the price action on this has been. Looks like they just held it forever until they sold it now. But the point is, you don't really hear a lot about them. And there was a time where, dude, that shit was
They were
everywhere.
the
I mean,
artist, yeah.
literally
Holy shit.
everywhere. And so you can go to, and that's not a slam on that person either. I think the art's cool. It just means like it's hard to hold attention. I don't give a shit who you are. It is hard to hold attention. And so you got to do it some way. I don't think there's one way to skin a cat. There's multiple ways, whatever that may be. If it's fun, obviously financial gains, 100%. People want that. Duh. Like we're not fucking idiots. But there are other ways to do it. And so I guess what I'm interested to see is because we've kind of been like, yeah, bullish, but like still like relatively stable. When this shit just like rips, how does the space feel as a whole, right? Like when people have these like even bigger wins, what do they do then next, right? Because like I think that's always sort of you have to have in the back of your mind is like, not that you're guessing, but you kind of got to take a stab at like what do we see happening next? Where does this money potentially flow to? Or is there something new? Is there a new narrative? Because that's very fucking, you know, there's a possibility that there's something brand new that comes out in 6 months that nobody's talking about right now. So do I think that people winning means eventually NFT ETH on NFTs go to the moon? No, I did not say that at all. But you have to be able to grab the attention somehow so that when those people have that liquidity, they're actually interested in potentially putting it in whatever you're doing. If you're an artist, if you're a fucking shitcoiner, if you're an NFT project, when they have that liquid, what are you doing to get their eye, basically gather their attention? And again, there's not one way to do that. You just have to do something cool and do it really well. Like pick your lane, figure it out, and go. And I think I'll wrap up this conversation. That's kind of what I felt with Garga is like, pick your fucking lane and just do it, and then do the cool shit that you think's cool. Just do it. Like don't wait for anything perfect. The stars to align. When you think it's cool, it's your fucking baby. Let that shit rip. Gather feedback and keep going. Like surprise and delight. Do some fun shit. Fuck around, find out, and then the cards will lay where they lay at the end of the day.
Job's not finished.
Jobs,
Yeah, no,
not
I definitely
finished.
I definitely think though, at some point, there will be a resurgence into some ETH NFTs.
Some.
I don't think it's going to be everything.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll be the things that we want it to be, even. Right? But can't help but think that if, you know, Bitcoin price goes parabolic, people will be looking to sell out of their bags. I think that's just going to happen. I think that will happen harder than people are anticipating, because the FOMO starts to kick in for every single other thing, right?
Correct.
Everything that you've been farming or not. But like for the most part, if people are farming stuff with a healthy Bitcoin price, valuations for some of this crap that everyone's like farming, getting tokens for, you know, like Tensor. Maybe if Tensor waited, their initial, instead of being worth 1.7 bill fully diluted, they could be worth, you know, 3 bill. Just because Bitcoin's shooting up, right? Like if the market is, you know, running towards the heavens, then like everything else that you've been doing or farming or whatever is like has potential to launch whenever those tokens launch at a much larger price. So like I do think liquidity, I think we mentioned it last week. Liquidity is like in different little hiding places, like being utilized to farm for a lot of things, be it on Solana, be it on Ordinal or on Bitcoin, somewhere on ETH, Blast, Base, whatever. People are putting ETH in different places. And then I think what will happen then is market starts ripping, you know, our NFTs are going to get wrecked, but like as different farming things finish, people then have their liquidity back to go deploy it into some other thing, right? And so I think when ETH NFTs get their time to shine, we're going to see a massive inflow into Pudgies for a Pudgy token, Azukis for anime. And that's the only one. Those are the only two that I'm really tracking. Apart from, we also have the Mon token launching, but that's sooner than later. So I think if those two are delaying, those two are going to be our winning horses for the next NFT, ETH NFT leg. And so, yeah, I think, I mean, obviously we talked about narratives driving price action, and like that's the narratives are going to be the tokens are coming, right? And like it's just what it's going to be, right? I mean, people are going to want to make money. How are you going to make money? Tokens.
Until the next cool thing that we get surprised and delighted by.
True.
That's the way that we fucking town. Yes, the next fucking Goblin Town. Man, I faded that shit when I was staring at it.
Larva Labs and Beeple.
And then it ripped to 9 ETH. God bless America. Well, anywho, we appreciate everybody coming through. You know what, Anthony? I'll DM him as soon as I get off this show. That's not even a cap. I will legitimately DM Eric Reed himself. Legitimately. And we'll see what happens. He responded to my last one, so we'll see. Yo, again, as always, we love coming through and talking about the good, the bad, and the ugly. And we love that you guys come through. We really do. You guys coming in, sharing your comments, giving it a retweet, following us on all the platforms. It means the world to us because we really do enjoy this. We've been doing this shit for, I mean, we'll be coming up on 2 years, I guess, in June or so, which is completely absurd and wild. And so we are looking for more fun things to do. Yuga, looking at you. Please give us more. When Meebtropolis, please. We want to go run around and have fun. When more other side trips so we can go fuck around and find out. When 3D avatars that we can fuck around and pretend like we know what we're doing and watch Bailey and Ryda actually do really cool shit. When is the question. But we did learn where Apefest was this week. We did have a fun and I think substantial tweet from Garga. And we'll just let everything else play out because, to be honest, we are not in control at all. But again, we love you. We appreciate you. Will, Bryce, anything to wrap us?
Peace.
That's it. Stay bored.
I hit record a drop, you can't ignore it. I'm transforming now these cars and planes, I'm always boarding. Just out touring down in Charlotte like I play for Hornets. When I'm performing, never boring, now you can't afford it. Champagne Perrier, Finnish friends on my face. Looking like I'm from the D. D's no Cartiers.